then you also got my block starts, which were my worst part of the race. If they were really good, the race probably wouldn't have started the way it did. I would have just led up and beat everyone. But once it was time for the 200, I went downstairs to get down to the main track. I arrived at the blocks, prepared, set. My start was alright, it was rushed, but it was all I had to work with. My turnover was fast. We're looking at 5 steps per second, that's 5 hertz. My strides were choppy, tiny, and very close to compensate for the increased turnover I was producing, which was understandable. My form had changed in about 3-4 days, and that wasn't enough time to fix my form. So I was working on a half-built ship, and I was just doing my absolute best to run the 200. I rounded the first bend, some fatigue started to set in, along with boredom, as I was completing the first 100 meters. Not much was happening, and whilst I was in a state of flow, due to it being my first competition in a long while, I was taking it all in slowly, or maybe my state of flow was so high that the world slowed, which usually that would actually be the case, but for this race, I beg to differ. My coach told me to rest, but after that race, I just couldn't. I needed to make sure my start was on point, and I wouldn't do what I did last time. So whilst I was not going to listen to my coach, I decided to set a limit. So while I was rapidly eating my lunch, I just watched the race again and again and again, analysing all parts of it, and by the time I was done, the limit that I'd set for myself was 3 block starts and a 4th block start, which was going to be recorded, and no matter what, that was me done. I did those block starts, and it was time for the 200. With a slightly crunched up face, I prepared my blocks. I pushed out controlled. A few days before, I had ran a 25-second 200 meter in a heavy wind. It was a time trial. But one thing I noted from that was, whilst the wind did affect the time I got around the bend, I was moving my arms in the wrong direction. My arms should have been mirroring the lines of the track. However, they were going perpendicular to the lines of the track. I went around the bend slightly, just matching everyone, trying to see where everyone was, just trying to see if anyone was going to make any moves. But as I rounded the bend, I slingshotted away off into the straightaway and left them all behind me. About 120 meters in, it was almost like they were standing still, and I was maintaining my same speed. As I went further down the track, since this was the first time I've ever had a race where I won by so much, I was confused by the gap, because I couldn't see the gap because I couldn't look back, but I could technically hear the gap, and you can tell how close people are by the footsteps, but I couldn't hear any footsteps. Prepared for the 200 very unhappily. The people in the race were similar to the people in the 100, which included the person who came second, who I was already wary of, and they had a PB in the 200 in the mid 22s, whilst I was still trying to break into the 22s. And whilst I had beaten in the 100 meters, I was also aware that the 100 was more my specialty, whilst the 200 was his domain. So if I wanted to win, I'd have to either be very lucky, or I'd have to have run the race so well with my improved speed that he stood no chance. We all exploded out of the blocks. I looked around at 70 meters and he was already on my shoulder. By 90, he was ahead of me, and as I came off the bend, with my arms and legs in overdrive to try and catch up to him by 120 meters and onwards, but by then it was too late. I finished the race in second place with a PB of 23:17. However, again it was wind assisted, this time by 2.4 meters per second, so again it was invalid. I got back into warming up for the 200. The man to beat was someone else this time, and this person had run mid 22 seconds before. Due to my PB, I had the potential to get another double, but I also knew that I was tired, and even with my PB, going off the average time I usually run for a 200 after I've run a 1 and a 2, the best time I could possibly run would be 22.8 flat, and the worst would be 22.9 something. To win, I would need to run 22.8 flat. I was also praying that the person who I needed to beat to win this would be more tired than I was, because they were also in the same heat as me. We were off, and he made up the stagger by 70 meters. He was right on the lane outside me, and I was doing my best to keep up to no avail. He'd already won by 90 meters. There was no need to continue the race. At that point, it was just mandatory. I finished in second with a 22.94, a massive PB. Not as big as my 100 meter PB, but I had finally dipped under 23, something I was happy for regardless. So far it was May, and I was within the times I want to be running for this month, but this month onwards would be where it would start to get hard. still pushing for sub 22 with an 11 flat run, 2 11s, 11.02, 11.0. I believe you should definitely be able to break 22 based off the numbers though. 22.2, which is not sub 22, but I feel like we could get the job done anyway. I'm not scared. The question is, am I still tired? If I'm tired, we might not get it done, but if I'm not tired, I'll work my way and I'll push. So I'm gonna do a little cool down, get myself ready for the 200. I'll open up my legs because my calves are tight. Eat a bit and see if I can get a fork. I think the food stall over there has a fork, so I can eat my pasta. Up for the 2. I've already gone over the heats before, but I'm the fastest guy in 100 out of the whole field, and from my last race we already saw that I have a good first 8 meters at least. So just hold and then open up, then just stride away, and then PB, hopefully 21 something. It's raining. And if you think about Woking, my most craziest time, not fastest but craziest, was done in the rain at Woking. So it's raining right now. I can't really catch it, but it's raining right now. So one can only wonder what I'm going to do today. I think I'm in lane 3, so let's go get.
In lane 4, Jevon Sutherland. In lane 5, Aaron Graham Mulvaney. In lane... Well, like the previous race, all of these athletes are running pretty much within a few tenths of each other in the 22s for their personal best. So let's see how this race now begins to unwind. Honor and Toby. Powerful finish. And even business 22.20. And the win is 0.0. So a great run for Jevon Sutherland at 22.19. William Phillips in 22.35. And Nicholas Kamara 22.77.
I have questions for you. Did it go how you wanted it to go?
No.
Is the times expected?
Because of how the 200 went, I can't complain about the time. we definitely could have gone faster. Like a 21 was actually possible. The issue is 2 rounds at 100. I'm tired. I have nothing else much to give, and I was getting down into the blocks. I had to keep reminding myself, don't go soft, don't go soft. And then came out. Haven't looked at the race yet. I don't need to, because I had a very great view of everyone's behind. Because I know how I'm supposed to be to at least be in line with them at the stagger, and by like 50, 60, 70, I was way at the back. Someone on my left was trying to catch up to me. I was like, ain't no way that's happening to me. So I had that to deal with. But I sped up, got to the straight, and then bye-bye for them. I think we were in line. Who left? If anyone's seen my 23:28 second 200, which is the last 200 I've done outdoors here, it was pretty much like that, except there was a kind of a battle going on for the first 100 or so. Push real hard, and we're gonna get the job done. What we're gonna, I don't know, but we're still gonna be trying to break 22. I didn't feel ready for the 1, but I feel ready for the 2. So let's do it. Race is done and we got redemption 2183. We should be about to get our silver medal soon. That was a good race. I'm not going to be upset getting a silver, running a 21. I already knew to win there was going to be sub 22s, and I'm just glad that of 3 that did it, I was the second fastest and I was one of them. It's great. I didn't run the best. We only got called back once this time, so that's good. But at the end of the day, I feel like we could do a 21.5. So that's the journey. We went from 24.41 to 21.83. And yeah, comment if you've watched some of the videos, which video was your favorite to watch, and which race, if you haven't watched any videos, was your favorite race to see me hit a PB in. But yeah, as you've noticed, I've had a long journey towards this 21. 5 years is not a small amount of time. The one season I wouldn't really count. I didn't train in 2022, but even still, 5 years is a long time to be trying to work towards these standards. Every single season, I've always been looking at what's next and trying to improve. It doesn't matter whether that's for the 60, the 1 or the 2. I've always been looking at who's faster than me, how do you move, and what do I need to do to myself to move like you. And I still do that to this day. which is why every single season you see a PB. Sometimes a lot of PBs, because I'm guessing this isn't the first journey video that I made that you've watched. So you've seen how literally every season he was guaranteed at least one PB for me in every event, and I don't plan to stop that anytime soon, because I'm grinding. I really want to do my best, be the best, and just keep leveling up. But beyond that, something I wanted to note was at the end of the season I ran 22 times, 2201, 2209, and if I had a stronger start, we would have broke 22 again, so we would have had 3 21s instead of just 1. A part of the reason why we didn't get any more 21s was because I got food poisoning before the next race I did, I'm pretty sure. So my body wasn't really firing at its best. I think that was my joint slowest 200 I've done that season, last season, I guess. So it was a tough time, and we were starting to get back into shape in my last 2 races of the season, but by then I was kind of late anyway. But if we was able to improve my start, have a better start, we could have probably moved at least a 10th per second from my start. We would have got those sub 22s. I would say of all the PBs I currently have, the 699, the 11 flat, 1098, or the 2183, I'm the most proud of this 200 one, because I ran this 200 time with an injured adductor and hamstring, still recovering, and technically was one of the better races I've had in any event. So I'm really proud of that, because I moved how I wanted to technically, and I still ran sub 22 even though we were nowhere near 699 shape. Based off what we're doing at the end of the indoor season, we was probably around 7-1, maybe even like 715. So the fact that I could pull off stuff like that, I'm proud of. And I know that next season, or this season for me, when I'm healthy, in shape, we're able to run another 699 without issues, you will be seeing more 21s. I don't plan to run a single 22 unless the wind decides not to be on my side. But yeah, this is the end of these journey videos for now. The next journey videos will probably be when I achieve some PBs. In my head, I'm thinking we run like a 659, 10 flat, maybe 999. We'll see which one I do, and then probably again 20 flat or 1999. So yeah, those are some time away. If you go for how long it took for me to get to this level, they're at least 3 years away from where I am right now as of today. So you're not going to be seeing any more of these for a while, unless I can't do some like new twists to make more of these videos, because they're really fun to make and they're not that difficult. Unless I still think is a great style of video to bridge each Project 21 video. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you don't know about Project 21, I hope you find out about it. Most likely when this video ends, or it gets to the end of it, you're going to be seeing a pop-up around there which has a Project 21 video in, because there's a high chance it would. So watch it, or if not, go to the first episode of season 1, check that out, and I'll see you guys in probably the next episode of Project 21.